everybody, and welcome to the Triforce podcast, coming at you from a week where Pyrion is now a boiled egg.
Yep.
Sips is a baked potato.
Thanks.
And I am a vegan sausage roll left in the oven for too long, and I've wilted.
It's been rough.
You look like Archer's mum from the show Archer, but a hot version. Like overheated version. I should say.
Oh yeah, not yeah. Well, clarify it.
Not like a MILF. What a stupid fuck! I hate that. The whole MILF thing. I would be happy for it to just go away entirely.
You're not a fan of the whole MILF thing?
I'm not really, and you still see it. Like I don't know if it's like people just like saying it ironically or something, but like you still see it around, and it's just, when's it gonna go away? You know what I mean?
What's your beef with the whole MILF and DILF thing?
Well, I think it's like. I think it mostly comes from that, because it originates with that American Pie movie, right?
Right. Stifler, that's right.
Stifler.
Yeah.
And I think that the whole Stifler thing was just, I mean, I went to school with people like that, and I didn't like them then either. And I still don't like them. Like I
think it's been the word's been adopted to be a fetish, really, in a sense. Like how about the word cougar? Are you okay with that?
I mean, ish. It doesn't thrill me beyond words. You know what I mean? Like if somebody says it, I can excuse it. You know what I mean? Like at least it's an actual word.
I think it's weird because essentially the core of the whole MILF thing is essentially, I guess, kind of sexist. Because the implication is, oh my goodness, it's an attractive middle-aged woman, as
Older
if that's like
woman,
surprising. Now, I understand that the whole gilf thing, like a grandmother I'd like to fuck, is I think that's more of a fetish, because it is very weird for
that has to be
a young person to want to have sex with someone in their 70s or 80s. Like that's weird. I'm sorry, but that is weird. I'm not trying to kink shame, but there's clearly some deep-seated psychological thing going on there. But the whole thing with MILFs is, I think unless you are a 18, 19-year-old, early 20s guy saying it about a woman in their 40s, if you're our age and you're referring to a woman as a MILF, that's kind of ridiculous, because what you're really saying is that you would like, it's surprising that a middle-aged man wants to have sex with a middle-aged woman when it isn't. But I guess it is still kind of surprising that a young man would want to have sex with a much older woman, I suppose. Whether that's society's hang-up or...
Yeah, we're all about shortening. You know, you always hear that, like, Japan have a word for... like a single word for the sound of the rainfall on the roof of a bamboo hut, right? Or something like this, right? And they'll have one single word for it because it's such, I don't know, that's a bad example, but...
Is this a reference to Shanae going way back?
You constantly get like this, right? And so we want more words, right, that save us time. You don't want to say hot mum, you just want to say MILF.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, everyone can't help themselves. They just have to make everything shorter.
I do say hot mums. I like the term hot mums. I think it's slightly more endearing.
I don't even think I would say hot mum. I feel like I'm so elevated above you guys, basically on a higher plane. I would just say, what an attractive woman.
Wow, what a gentleman you are.
I would
tip
say
your
that.
Tip fedora. Tip
Milady.
Tip that fedora.
Would you care to engage in some sexual frippery with myself?
Sexual frippery. That's a good one.
I was trying to sound as foppish as possible.
But I think the interesting thing is the counterpoint to all of this is, and I'm going to say, lads, it's a 3-word phrase: wet ass pussy.
Wet ass pussy ass.
Wet ass pussy. You've heard the furore about Cardi B and
I don't Megan Thee Stallion? Any idea what you're saying.
All right, so
now.
This song came out. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion brought out this song called WAP, W-A-P.
Wet ass
and the song is about wet ass pussy. Right. And their pussy's, you know, it's so wet and such good pussy that the song is about how these fellas are going to do pretty much anything to get with it.
Right.
One of my favorite lines is, wet ass pussy make your pull-out game weak. In other words, you know, you're going to bust a nut in this wet ass pussy, right? You're not going to be able to help yourself. She's really selling her pussy.
Right.
It sounds like a fantastic product. Now, Ben Shapiro, that little twat that does sort of a podcast of his own, I think.
I love that description. Little twat.
He read the lyrics to this he was very unhappy with Wet Ass Pussy.
Right.
And he said that his wife, who's a doctor, feels that this is clearly some kind of medical condition, which I think is just the most hilarious.
Like a bacterial infection.
Which means that Ben Shapiro's like,
antibiotics for that.
But Ben Shapiro's like, honey, these women are singing about having a wet pussy. And she's either deluded or she's like, oh yeah, that's a medical condition, Ben. You know what I mean? Like she's trying to let him down easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny. So because
I have seen the clips of the video with
Yes.
their tits hanging out down that weird corridor, like Willy Wonka style.
I am a big fan of
Wet ass pussy.
Tits
Nicki
hanging
Minaj and Cardi B and Megan Thee
Me too.
Stallion for the precise reason that they're extremely hypersexualized and their songs don't give a fuck about what you think. They're just going to sing about wet ass pussy, which I think is hilarious. I was smiling the whole time I was listening to that song.
I'm personally a little bit uncomfortable with like hyper sexualized situations and people. I find it way over the top. Personally, I'm not even a prude. You know, like I
think if you think of it as a comedy song, though, then it's okay, right?
I don't even know if it is. I just think it's fucking awkward. It really is, isn't it? Like, where the hell do you look when that's on? Like, you're in a room and there's other people.
You're not supposed to watch it with your family on Saturday night.
Like, oh my, what the hell's going on here? Like, I don't know. It's too much. Maybe that's the dad in me, or maybe I'm just getting old or something. But it's just like too.
You're getting detached.
I wish we could go back.
What did you think about like the '90s glam rockers wearing like spandex one pieces and having long hair and stuff like that? Wasn't that like a bit overly sexualized?
I suppose so. But it was like, I don't know. I guess there was some sort of like comedy value to it as well, or like maybe I don't know, man.
I don't think they were comedy. Maybe it's the same. Like,
Do you find it?
Maybe it is the same. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you find it uncomfortable because it seems like smutty and dirty? Like looking at someone else's striptease that they've paid for, like you're looking through a keyhole at someone else's.
I mean, I never thought about it specifically that way. I think it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, it's just like a little bit, not like, I'm not embarrassed for them. I'm just like embarrassed to be me when that is happening. I don't know how to explain it. It just like it absolutely makes me cringe. Like I can't.
I think if it was live, it would be a little uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of looking at the beautiful women shaking their butts. So I mean, I just think this is fucking great.
Don't get me wrong. I don't mind watching some butt shaking. I just like. I don't know. There's got to be some it's kind of like right place at the right time sort of thing, right? Like I don't know. I just think
you want to see that butt shaking in a controlled environment.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Because it's so lame sometimes.
You don't just want to be hit with the butt shaking when you weren't expecting.
I don't want to be
sitting. Some mainstream.
I don't want to be at a funeral with like my grandparents and my family and stuff. And
Madam, please.
Somebody is, as the coffin's being lowered down, somebody standing on the coffin. You know,
Frank did love MILFs.
Clapping that ass. I don't want. That's not the time or place.
And as he requested, we're about to play his favorite song, "Wet Ass Pussy" by Cardi B.
That'll be the funerals of the future.
Now get down.
Do you think you know that video of the guys? Is it Ghana where they did the coffin carriers and they do that dance?
Yeah.
So do you think that the equivalent from what you're talking about would be that it is carried upon the butts of twerking women to the grave and then lowered into a somber rendition of Wet Ass Pussy?
I'm sure there's plenty of dirty old guys who'd love that.
There's a lot of comedy value in that. I wouldn't feel too awkward then. I think it's like, you know, when I can't explain it. Maybe I'm just the only person who feels like this, but I just feel like I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, I don't know if you guys have played Metal Gear Solid 5, but like there's a character in Metal Gear Solid 5 called Quiet. She's a sniper.
Yeah.
Oh, let me guess. She's very quiet a lot of the time.
Yeah. Okay. Look her up on Google Images to get an idea.
I'm doing it now.
She's a kid. She's just got like these tits that are spilling out all over the place because she's basically wearing like a
she's
bra.
Wearing like a bikini.
She's wearing like a bathing suit. Yeah,
I wouldn't wear this
much.
into combat. I've got to be honest with you.
And I just found every scene with her in it tremendously awkward. Like it was just too much. I don't know. Like I know, like some people.
Now let me just set the scene, though. Imagine it was as hot as it has been these past few days.
Sure.
And you are on a secret mission, a special mission.
Okay.
And you have to run around in combat zones.
Uh-huh.
And also, you've got huge bazongas.
Yeah.
And you just want to let them free.
Well, I mean, Solid Snake in that game has massive thighs, but they're all covered up. Like he's wearing full trousers, like body armor, you know, like a headband and everything. Like basically, the only skin exposed on that guy is his face.
I'm just watching
he's got a
some
mullet
GIFs.
to cover the back of his neck and stuff.
I'm watching some GIFs. It seems very gratuitous.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's lots of she's looking out a window and she's sort of hanging down, looking out the window, and you're looking right down her top, and then she turns around to get something.
This was fine in 2015. No one was complaining about this.
Yeah, but here's the
2015.
thing. To me, the song Wet Ass Pussy is empowering because these women made it. They wrote the song. They performed the video. They're going to make money from it. It's their thing.
Sure.
If you have a bunch of dudes making a video game and they put a female character in and they're just like, let's just have her bend over some more and
you know what though? My overall commentary isn't. I don't even have I don't have a problem with any of that stuff. For me, it is just the sheer awkwardness that I feel when I see somebody with their tits out, like in a music video or whatever. I think find
it's
it
a bit
awkward.
of both. I genuinely think, I think you're right, P-Flax. I think the gratuitous, like the booth babe and all that stuff, and the kind of men putting in sexy women into their games, and kind of, I don't think it's cool. But at the same time, there is this sort of, like, some women want to be empowered and show off their bodies and do this stuff, and who are we to stop that?
If you want to do the empowering, if you want to do it, go for it. But I feel like if you, I mean, here's the thing: maybe some girls really like being booth babes.
Honestly, empower away, but know this, ladies. I will feel pretty awkward. I might blush as well. I just find it too much.
Empower away. Empower away. But Sips will look away.
I will.
That's the thing.
Well, I might not even, but I will still feel pretty awkward the whole time. I just can't shake it. Are there any songs similar to Wet Ass Pussy, but they were done by empowered mature women, like middle-aged women?
Beyonce's knocking on, isn't she? How old is Beyonce?
I feel like you could just watch Sex and the City.
I mean, Beyonce is about as old as I am.
She's 38.
What about the Sex and the City movie? Yeah. They were basically just a whole bunch of milfs.
She doesn't look 38 though, does she?
What about
no, she's fantastic.
Desperate Housewives?
Yeah, exactly. Desperate Housewives. That is MILF City, exactly. And there was a show called Cougar.
Cougar Town, yeah.
Cougar Town, didn't it? It had Courtney Cox in, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. She must be knocking on now too, eh? Courtney Cox.
She's 87.
She's 80. Jeez, the time flies.
She's 56. She looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Can we not? No, come on, guys. Let's not start sexualizing Gillian Anderson again, and all of the hot women that we used to watch from our
You're right.
childhood.
It's a dark road. Shout out to a guy on Twitter, by the way, Pete, who has kept me and I think Sips in the loop with everything that Liz Hurley's done.
Oh yeah, Pete, thanks very much.
Years.
Yeah, I think Flax has moved on. I'm still in the Hurley camp for sure.
I said I'm
firmly
done with Liz.
in there, and by firm I mean
you are firmly. You've been a Liz Hurley, a Hurley naught for some time.
Holy crap! So you went on holiday this week, Sips?
I did. Yeah, I did a staycation. Which is the recommended way to do something different this summer, depending on where you live. So over here, what they're telling people is, don't go away, don't leave the island or whatever. What you want to do is, you just have a vacation on the island. You know, set
up a tent,
stay at a hotel or go camping or something. So we stayed at a local hotel. Which was fun. We just stayed there for 2 nights. We weren't far away from home. The kids had a really fun time. It was nice. We're going to do it again at the end of this month as well. Just like.
And when you told me about this yesterday, the first thing you said was, "Fuck me, it was hot.
Oh.
There was no air conditioning.
Oh my God.
I just died.
It was. I was just melting. I looked like Paul McCartney, like the whole time I was gone. I was just like a melting candle. Like I was just fucking dead. Like I just couldn't do anything. It was the worst. Like we went outside. We were outside on the beach until about 10 o'clock every night, just because it was so cool. Just like the kids were just playing in the waves and stuff, and it was pitch black, but we were just like, oh, we can't go back to that room. It's just too much. At one point, even though we'd paid for 2 nights, I said, let's just go sleep at home and then we'll come back in the morning. And my wife was like, nah, we can't do that. But I was like, I was dead serious. I was like, this is too much. Like,
I mean, how long does it take to drive from one side of the island to the other?
Like 10 minutes. Like,
right.
It's not,
so you could have
done that. Yeah, easy. And
it probably would have been cooler in the car.
Doing that. Yeah. We could have all slept in the garage with the air conditioning. Jeez, it would have been fantastic. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like a seaside hotel. It's not that it's old, but I mean, there's a lot of people talking about this like on social media and stuff because everybody in Europe is like, I'm fucking dying, it's so hot, and everybody in the States like, just turn on your AC. But we just don't have it over here. Like it's not a common thing to have. Like
I thought you had it though.
Stores have it. I have it in my garage. I don't have it in my house.
Oh. Yeah. We were looking into it because of I remember you said to me that I should look into getting some AC.
Yeah.
And I mean the thing is I'm up in the office here in the loft conversion. As I said before, it gets very stuffy. Even with the window open, there's not much breeze. If I have the door open as well in the evenings, I can't do that because I make too much noise.
Yeah.
I've got a floor fan going.
Yeah.
The sun beats down on this flat roof all day long.
Yeah.
And it is an oven. Like it must be when it's 35 or whatever it was, it's
you
like
just
40
perfectly
plus
described the hotel room I stayed in for 2 nights.
It's horrible.
That's what it's like. Yeah, it was at the top floor. It was like a fucking oven. The sun would beat in. No air circulation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they have any ventilation in the rooms at all.
It's very rough. It's rough. Yeah. I remember my dad, I was talking to him yesterday actually, and he was saying he came over to England a few years ago to see us, and he stayed in a hotel that had no fan, like not even a fan, and it was like this kind of heat. And I mean, especially if you're coming from the States, it's incomprehensible.
You're used to being sort of somewhat climate controlled, right?
Yeah. But I mean, this is how most people live, isn't it? You just get on with it. I just sleep with just a sheet or nothing, and just lie on my bed and sweat. And eventually, you go to sleep and you wake up a little dehydrated, but you get by. It's all right. Just make sure you're properly tied when you go to bed. That seems to help a lot.
I found, interestingly, I found a few Japanese words that don't exist in English.
Oh, yeah, let's hear these.
Okay,
and the first one is kind of interesting. So it's called shibui.
Is it? I've got one for you. Do you know what this means? Tatsumaki senpu kyaku.
Wow.
Yeah. See if you can decipher that one, bitch.
Tatsumaki senpu kyaku.
Yeah.
Is it food related?
The Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hurricane kick.
Fuck, how did you find it out so fast?
He Googled it.
I fucking Googled it.
It's the only Japanese.
Isn't that what Ken shouts when he does the spinning?
And Ryu.
Yeah, and Ryu, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one when he does the hurricane kick. Tatsumaki senpu kyaku.
I feel like that's longer though. That's the opposite of what I was doing. So shibui means had to have good taste in a cool, good old taste in a cool way. So it can't be used for young people or things. It can only be used to describe people or things that have aged well and remained cool and attractive.
Okay.
So like a MILF,
David Bowie,
I guess.
Like David Bowie or a MILF, yeah.
Or George Clooney, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like a classy kind of older gentleman who is still very attractive and cool.
Right.
And Jeff Goldblum is very shibui.
Yeah.
I think I'm shibui actually. I think I'm becoming more and more shibui as time goes on,
Sure.
Just gotta start wearing a business suit more often than not, and without a tie though. You got to have the collar open
and the red trousers,
or a bow tie, or like a black bow tie. You could pull that off, like as if you were at a wedding.
Don't wear a bow tie.
It's a little
bow
bit
ties
stuffy.
never look good. I don't think anyone has ever looked good in a bow tie.
I think if you own like a gigantic telecoms company, you can almost get away with it, but even then, it's not.
You just look like a dick. That's the problem.
Because
you either look like this is your first time at a wedding and you're 8 years old and he's got a little bow tie, or all right, so Lewis has just posted a picture of George Clooney wearing a bow tie. That's cheating a little bit, isn't it?
He looks great.
Right, but he would look just as good as if he in fact, he would look better if he wasn't wearing a bow tie. I mean, it's a stupid little thing that someone invented because they're hard to tie.
He's a hunk though, George Clooney?
Yeah, he's a really good looking dude.
He's very shibui.
He could wear anything.
He's a dilf. I think we do have words for this, like but it's not quite right.
Look, I respect his handsomeness, but I would not probably enjoy fucking him. That's the
thing. Sure.
I don't know if that would be...
I don't think you're going to fuck George. I think George is going to fuck you. Like, I think
that's probably true, actually. George would probably
be the fuckee.
He would take
Do you know what you should have said
quickly.
when I posted that picture of George Clooney? You should have said Sugoi, because that means... like so many things at once. It means like wow, superb, fabulous, marvelous, amazing. Like it's like a general purpose Japanese explanation that means like amazing. They like wow,
Sugoi.
Cool.
So
Sugoi. Again,
is it multi-purpose? Like, can you use it for other things?
Yeah, you basically could just use it all the time. There's like an expression of joy. You know, you might.
So it has to be joy. It can't. It's not like the Russian bliat, which can mean a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
they say it a lot, that's kind of the opposite, isn't it? It's
I was watching this.
I
was watching this Tarkov streamer. He's Russian. He runs labs a lot. He's really good at the game, and fuck me when if he gets there's a lot of hackers in labs, right? He gets really pissed, and it's just like. I can't understand a word he says because I don't speak Russian.
Right.
But man, once he gets going, you can tell when he's pissed off because it's just like every second word is bliat, bliat, bliat. He must just be cussing hard or whatever.
So let me get this straight. You're watching other people stream Tarkov when I've been streaming it for nearly 2 weeks?
You know what?
Well, that hurts.
Okay, but this guy is like a machine though. I
am like a machine. My machine just happens to be able to get loot on reserve and then die.
Okay, but I mean, this guy kills 10, 15 players per map. He's insane. Wow. He does these corner peaks. He has roots. He's on another level.
Wow.
It's just...
We did a labs run. I did a labs run and didn't die.
He's the kind of guy that you would never want to be matched into a game that he was in.
God, that sounds horrifying.
He does these. He's got these tricks, and I'm sure a lot of people do them. I've only really noticed him doing them just because of the way he plays. But he runs everywhere. So
right.
He'll run up to somewhere and then just stop to listen, right? And then sometimes just to lure people out of hiding or whatever, he just chucks grenades all the time.
Oh yeah.
He loads into maps with 15 grenades. So he's just chucking them around corners, he's chucking them into rooms, whatever. And more often than not, he'll sort of, prompt somebody to react to all the noise he's making.
Yeah.
And that's when he knows where they are, and then he can normally outplay them or whatever. It's nuts. It's
scary.
It's crazy.
It's scary when you bump into
It's like watching
Chad.
art. It's insane. It's just it's really good.
I can see why you'd watch that over my stream.
But it'd be terrifying to play against somebody that good.
It is really interesting. So I've been playing a few miniatures games on Tabletop Sim and in real life.
Right. This sounds less interesting already, by the way.
I didn't want to say it.
Sorry. I know it's really nerdy, but I don't know, I've been enjoying the physical movement around of... It's quite a different gameplay experience, right? Because miniatures games, the first thing I sort of realized was that just the fact that everything is measured in inches and everything is positioned so precisely.
Yeah.
It's quite unlike... But because it's turn-based too, it's kind of like this odd blend that you don't necessarily see so much of on PC. Maybe someone will make something that feels similar to it, but it feels quite unique. And one of the things I noticed yesterday was when I play against Ben or Tom, there's always this sort of politeness almost, where I say to him, "Oh, yeah, you weakened my thing. So do you want me to re-roll the dice or whatever?" Right? And they're like, "Okay, yeah, sure." But when the pros play, I was watching a video of the finals or whatever.
Right.
They were the opposite. They were deliberately distracting their opponent. They were being friendly and making jokes and stuff, but in a way that kind of made their opponent make mistakes and not notice those things, And so, for example, if they missed that weaken token that was on there, that would be a mistake that you want to force your opponent into. And it felt like they were being friendly and being honorable, but up to a point. Anything to do with the game, if your opponent didn't notice it, you had to capitalize on that mistake,
Right.
I don't know. It was kind of odd to see because it sort of felt slightly, I don't know, not gentlemanly, weirdly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're competitive, I guess, in sports and stuff, you have to take those advantages where you can get them, right? Really weird.
That is unpleasant. That's why I would never play any of those board games and any miniatures battle and anything like that against people I didn't know.
In a serious
most
context,
of the people that do play those things are awful people. So
it really does change like your behavior when you take something too seriously.
Yes,
it's really interesting.
It's like the
in
dark
a negative
side
way.
of humanity.
Yeah, it is, and it's strange how humans get competitive and how that can lead quite quickly down to a negative path. Anyway, the next word, which I wanted to mention anyway, was because I sort of read about this a while back. You've probably heard of it. Ikigai. It's like it sort of literally means life's purpose,
right?
Or a reason for being, a reason for living. And it's this idea that you need to, in your life, find a combination of 4 things: what you love doing, what you can be paid for, what you're good at, and what the world needs. Okay.
So my favorite thing is only 2 of those 4. That's a problem.
Which were the 2? What were the 2?
No one's going to pay me for it, and the world doesn't need it. It's masturbation. Nobody is going to pay me for that, and the world doesn't need it.
Well,
so that's more of a passion or a profession.
You might be a big sensation on like an adult website, especially one where you can upload your own pornographic footage to. You know,
well, like OnlyFans or something.
You don't
like
know
that.
until you try. Is basically what I'm saying.
I wouldn't do it.
How do you know?
Sips is saying that somebody may need to see you doing it.
Yeah,
and that may well give you a purpose, a feeling of satisfaction.
It would not.
You might feel very satisfied after that.
I would feel like an icky guy is what I would feel like, rather than have any icky guy. It's not something that I would want to do. Also, because it's out there on the internet.
Well,
I have children who are on the internet. You know what I mean? I don't want in 10 years' time them to be like, Dad, stumbled across a really horrifying video.
Beating your hog hard the other day, Dad. It was... Jeez,
and don't get me wrong, you look
really
like a very skilled hog wrangler, but I didn't want to see that, and I'm scarred.
Yeah.
So,
that is a worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, before we go any further, just to remind everyone that we are very proudly sponsored by ExpressVPN. You can go to expressvpn.com/Triforce.
Yes.
To get 3 free months free of a VPN, which you should be using if you're browsing the internet. It provides safety and also privacy.
No,
but also you can use it to change your country that you're browsing from to get around things. Like this week I actually used it because I looked up best films on Netflix, found a film I wanted to watch, and then when I loaded up Netflix, I realized it wasn't actually on the UK Netflix. So I changed my country to America, and then I was able to watch it.
And remind me again, Lewis, how would I do that?
You can sign up at expressvpn.com/Triforce, and that supports the podcast.
Excellent.
It supports us. I use it. I like it. If you're not using it, you should check it out. Well, let's get on with the podcast. Sorry about the distraction. See if you can guess these ones. Okay. See if you can guess what these ones are. Kogarashi.
It's like some sort of like sea cucumber or something.
Is that a guy that you bump into in a back alley and he's very big and he says that Kogarashi and you think, oh, I'm fucked now, and you just give him your wallet?
It actually apparently means leaf-shaking wind, the first cold wind of the year that lets you know
Kogarashi
when winter is coming.
Right.
And so it's like the shivers, the shivery wind. That it's like obviously a moment, a turning point.
That's very
similar
cool.
to that is koyu, which is
the first one of summer.
The leaves changing colours in fall. So it's like the way that the leaves slowly change their colours.
Right.
The koyu. These are cool, interesting words that we don't have.
I agree. Keep going if you got some more.
Oh, the other one which you might recognize is Itadakimasu. Itadakimasu.
Is that like their equivalent of saying cheese when you take a picture? Or
close? It's what people say before they eat or before they receive a treat or gift from someone. So it's like, I humbly receive this, which is that's literally what it means. I humbly receive this, or like bon appetit, I guess it would be kind of a thing that you might say. Good eating.
So I humbly receive this and good eating. I think I've seen that in a few Bukkake movies.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Shall I stop? Oh my God.
Dear. Sorry, I amuse
Jesus
myself.
Christ.
I amuse myself. That's my only goal.
There's a word called which I've never heard of called Ojamashimasu, which means excuse the intrusion, or I'm sorry to interrupt. Kind of like it's like saying excuse me.
Right,
I'm
but
sorry.
So we have an equivalent to that. I mean, we just say. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Like, you know.
Well, no, excuse me, sorry is sumimasen, which is different. That's like the casual excuse me. This is more of a sort of polite Japanese phrase that people use when they enter someone's home, which kind of means more like, you know, sorry for intruding upon your personal space. You know, I'm going to treat it with respect, kind of thing.
Do you suppose that living on, as they do, a small island or series of islands, and having such a large population, that this kind of very etiquette-heavy language and society really is the result of we've all got to get along and have words to make sure that we show respect, or we're all just going to fucking kill each other? Like, do you think that's where that's come from?
I think it's just excessive politeness,
right? But that stems from somewhere.
Deference to one's elders too, like finding ways to just guess be scared of them, but also be nice to them.
I think the respect for one's elders things. I think a lot of that comes from. I'm ignorant as sin about all this stuff, but isn't it like Shinto has a big belief in ancestors and stuff like that? And also, bear in mind, people in Japan have lived longer lives. Like, they've had longer lifespans for quite a while. So I guess culturally, you've got more older people. I know that there is an awful lot of older people in Japan.
They refer to Japan
right?
often as a gerontocracy,
right?
I think, or a gerontocracy, which is this sort of state which is kind of governed by the elderly.
Right.
And it's odd, but kind of very true. You know, they still use fax machines in businesses. They're still very they're very old school in a sense. Like,
but where does that culture of politeness, extreme politeness, has to have come from somewhere?
I think you're right.
And I think it must be that close quarters, large population. Because you know, it's not like they're clustered in very large cities in Japan. Because I guess a lot of it is quite mountainous. Like, you couldn't really spread out in Japan. It's quite a mountainous.
Yeah,
country,
it's one of these what's called sort of. It's like a megalopolis kind of things. It's just sort of this, like, I was reading about this, and there's sort of various I think they're called megalopolis actually,
right.
Which are these, and there's various ones. There's like the Eastern Seaboard, which is kind of just like cities from New York all the way down to, you know, through Philly and all the way down. It just goes all the way. It's just urban sprawl the whole way. There's a similar one, a corridor between, is it Chicago all the way up Toronto and all the way up there on the Great Lakes? There's this big sort of megalopolis there, and there's this one, and Tokyo one pretty much goes all the way along because it's this mountain range in the middle, and they have the Shinkansen, the big train that runs along the bottom. And it goes through just city after city. And there's a few in China now as well, just huge like urban sprawl that goes on forever. It's really, really, really interesting. But yeah, like, they've always lived, I guess, more. But there's rural areas too. It's not that. I don't know much about it. I just think it's really interesting to speculate wildly about. But the other one that I heard was wabi sabi, which is this sort of meaning of aesthetic. Show? Welcome to Wabi Sabi.
Exactly.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. Japanese TV, by the way, is just terrible,
bonkers.
But we'll not.
Although I
mention
did
that.
watch one, it might have been Korean actually, where they have these pop stars. You know, the way they have a lot of female pop groups in Korea. It's like a big K-pop,
idol groups,
right? And a toaster pops toast up, and they have to catch it in their mouth when the toast pops up, and so they have their face over the toaster and they have to try and catch it in their teeth when it pops. They obviously don't know when it's going to pop, so they put it on the timer and they go, and they have to try and catch it. And the bread hits them in the face a lot of the time. And they'll do an ultra slow-mo with like sound effect, like whoosh, like the bread hit them, and then close-ups, and then you'll have that happening. And then there's always a picture-in-picture of the other girls or someone in another studio reacting and laughing. It's a very different style of television.
It's very oddly, slightly cruel, slightly physical comedy aspect to it, for sure.
And I wonder if that's because of the etiquette and the politeness. It's entertaining to break that down and have these kind of clowny, jokey presenters who make fun of people when that's the opposite of how you are in day-to-day life. I wonder if that's part of the reason it's so popular. Pure speculation on my part, of course.
I mean, we only see those sort of extreme game shows, really, but there's a lot of very kind of generic chat shows and sort of quite odd. It's just quite odd and quite different. And and the reason we don't really see much beyond that, we see a lot of anime, we see a lot of things that cross over, but a lot of Japanese TV and comedy doesn't cross over at all, that we never see, because it's just so unique to that sort of culture. In the same way, I guess, like things that we might have, like I don't know. So some things we've done, like British Bake Off, cross everywhere. Everyone loves Bake Off. It's huge in China and all over the place. But certain things that I don't know that might not cross over. I can't.
All right, here's one.
Maybe Songs of Praise.
There's one called AK Bingo, and you have a disgusting-looking insect in a tube, and you have girls either side of the tube, and they're blowing the insect away from them. And
I mean, these ones are pretty. This is like the same equivalent of us doing, the jungle challenges in I'm a Celebrity.
It just seems so cruel.
They're awful. Yeah. Anyway, Wabi Sabi is it's much more refined. It's the aesthetic sense of emphasizing quiet simplicity and subdued refinement. So it's like something that is simple and quiet, but makes you have a good feeling and a calm mind. In the same way, I guess, like hygge is the sort of Norwegian, is it Norwegian or Scandinavian word that sort of means the kind of warm coziness of a in winter, that you get around Christmassy kind of thing. But this is more, Wabi Sabi is more to do with pottery or like a temple in the woods, kind of like a quiet, warm sense of coziness, which we don't have a word for.
The word hygge in Swedish.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, but I think Wabi Sabi could be used to describe, I don't know, like walking around the grounds of a stately home or something, that feeling.
So would you describe the place as having Wabi Sabi, or is it more of a feeling?
I think it's this sense. It certainly tends to be in art. It certainly has to be usually attached to art, like a temple or a building or an object or a painting, something which gives you that feeling of just simple but homely but warm. It's tough. We don't have words for these things.
It's tough.
But when you do, it's obvious.
What words do we have?
What that Japan doesn't have?
Well, no, that
probably loads.
It would be hard to translate, and the meaning of it, it would be multifaceted. And I mean, English is a very descriptive language. If we need to describe something, we can we've got a ton of words to describe things. Lots of words that have the same meaning in slightly different contexts and stuff like that. There are some words that we must have some words that are just kind of like, it's kind of hard to explain what that means. And I'm just trying to think what they might be.
I think that we actually have more words than anyone else, right?
Oh, we've got a huge vocabulary, but we steal a lot of words. We make a lot of new words as well. I mean, we're always adding words in. I don't think French does that, for example.
I've got a list here. Serendipity. That's a good word.
Yeah, but we know what that word means.
The idea of finding pleasant or desirable things by accident. Yeah. I don't think other countries necessarily have that.
I don't think that's even our word. That sounds like it's... that's not... That's probably that sounds Greek, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose actually there's a list here that don't... Well, the first one is cheesy. False tack, you're trying too hard.
Cheesy.
So like...
that's like my... that's a really good description of my... my Twitch channel.
Oh.
Cheesy. My day-to-day...
False tack, you're trying too hard.
My day-to-day plight.
The first noted use of serendipity in the English language was by Horace Walpole on the 20th of January, 1754. Very specific. In a letter he wrote to his friend Horace Mann, Walpole explained an unexpected discovery he made about a lost painting by reference to a Persian fairy tale, The Three Princes of Serendip. The princes, he told his correspondent, were always making discoveries by accident and sagacity of things which they were not in quest of. That's a very 18th century way of putting it. The name comes from
Horace.
Serendip.
It's Horace here. Yeah. I'm writing you a letter.
Always make discoveries by accidents and sagacity of things which they were not in quest of. Which is, So Serendip is an old name for Sri Lanka, hence Sarandip by Arab traders. It is derived from the Sanskrit. I can't pronounce that. The word has been exported into many other languages. So that might be a word that we kind of came up with based on some other things. So that might actually be an invented English word.
Oh my God, do you reckon there's like a Japanese TV show right now going through English words like cheesy and pimp and trying to describe them to the audience? And there's
probably. I think they probably do stuff like that.
They have like three guys, one bald guy, one like
big chubby
dad,
guy, and one really good looking
one
pop star
like
guy.
funny, sexy young guy. Yeah.
But they're hovering over a pit of eels. And if they get one wrong, they have to eat the eels, and they're dropped in them, and then someone poos on them. There we go. That's how you make it a proper game.
That sounds
so
pretty good.
One of the words on this list is pimp. I guess not in the way of this exploiting prostitutes, but more in the way that it is to like pimp my ride. You know,
right.
pimp this thing out for me. You know, that's an odd use. That's only quite recent that we've started using it. I guess it means to upgrade or to like bling out.
Yeah, but again, you're using another new word, bling, to sort of explain another new word. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, if you add some bling on there, I mean, I've people bling everything.
Yeah,
even vaginas get blinged up apparently. So
it's true, they do. Yeah,
some wet ass pussies with bling. That's the most bling pussy that you could get.
You could you could put like a diamond, like bling up your dill hole.
You could just ram a diamond in there.
Yeah, you could bling it.
Yeah. That's a word they don't have.
Yeah.
Dill hole.
Oh,
dill hole.
Holy shit!
I was trying not to be super
crude.
explicit.
No, you've become very sensitive all of a sudden. What happened to edgy sips? Are you concerned that you're going to offend people?
No, not in the slightest. Actually, I think I am still kind of disgusting and whatever. Like, I'll talk about poop and dicks and vaginas and
Sticking
stuff.
a hot dog up your ass. Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole lot.
I just I think I don't know what the issue is.
Putting some eels in your dill
hole.
hole.
Another one that I found really awkward was that Miley Cyrus, the Wrecking Ball one.
But that was just ridiculous.
That was tremendously awkward.
That was awkward because it was so forced. It felt like a committee had come up with, okay, here's what you're going to do, Miley. You're going to bend over and you're going to stick your tongue out in a really weird way. It just looked weird.
Yeah, I know. It just like it didn't do it for me at all.
Yeah.
It had the opposite effect.
It didn't feel natural.
I wasn't disgusted. I just felt really awkward.
Also, I'm not being funny, but there's nothing to her. Like, what are you showing me? It's like there's nothing there. She's showing me her lack of a cool butt. It was disappointing. And she has a tongue like a snake. Weird.
She's got a snake tongue, yeah.
So
I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know.
By the way,
yeah,
talking about things that were totally fixed, and these songs that are written by a committee of people. There was this idea. There's a podcast called Wind of Change, which is out.
It's about flatulence.
If you're interested,
is it about what is it? Is it about the scorpions? It's the scorpions, right? Scorpions.
Scorpion song.
Wind of Change. Okay, hang on a second. The lyrics.
The magic of the moment, a storm, a stormy night. That one. That song was such a big hit.
I thought
Germany.
part of this song was in French because I couldn't understand any of the words.
They just have very strong German accents, I think, the Scorpions.
Yeah, and down to Gorky Park.
Yeah.
Which is in Moscow.
To the wind, doo-doo of change. Yeah, it's weird.
So that came out round about after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And it was a time when this is what the podcast sort of. This is not a spoiler for the podcast if you want to listen to it. I recommend it because this is sort of the idea, really. The podcast investigates like the suggestion that the song was written by or connected to the CIA,
right?
As a way as a psyop to bring down the USSR, which did happen. And I think they were doing a lot of ops at the time, and they will this cultural idea of cultural war. They just were spitting out loads of these ideas, and some of them just went at the time. Those Scorpions were the biggest artists in the world. They were huge. They were going on a tour of Russia at the time. This was sort of a song that is to do with Russia. You know, it's got. I follow the first three lyrics are. A lot of the lyrics are linked to Russians, like the balalaika and talking about Gorky Park and stuff. And it was a huge, huge hit. And it's just such an interesting idea that it could have been manufactured by the CIA.
Yeah.
Because we know it.
The CAA,
it was this...
the Canadian Automotive Association. Hey, guys, something I've been obsessed with recently, and I've been having a lot of fun with messing around. Check this. Okay, I posted in Discord. Have you guys seen this video yet?
Puddle of Mud about a girl.
Puddle of Mud.
Okay, the band Puddle of Mud have covered, kind of recently, maybe it's a couple of months ago, they covered About a Girl by Nirvana, but oh man, you got to just watch some of it. It's pretty good. These guys are like, I don't know much about them actually. I've heard of Puddle of Mud. I think they're like some sort of
Yeah, they were kind of one of those Limp Bizkit-y like knockoffs. Like,
I think so.
Day,
you
know.
But anyway, I think this guy fancies himself as like a bit of a Cobain.
These guys look like they're about 50 years old now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very past their sell-by-date rockers.
Yeah.
They're all sat down.
Okay, so what I've been having a lot of fun doing recently is using YouTube's playback speed feature. So I let the song play out in normal speed, but then at the end of each verse, like I need an easy friend, like I can't see you every night free, like when like those words that at the end of the verses. So when he gets to those, I slow down the playback speed to like 0.25.
This is horrible. What I'm having to listen to here. This is absolutely awful. You can tell that the other guys have to put up with this guy. It's 4 old guys. They look like they're sat in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
3 of them are playing acoustic or sort of guitars. And the one in the middle, obviously the lead singer guy, it looks like he's having like a hernia.
Yeah,
every time he tries
like
to sing anything. He's like
yeah.
shitting out like a fucking
I know.
really dry, heavy fiber shredded wheat.
There are some really good like montage versions of this where it's just all of his like hernia yells and stuff. But yeah,
Jesus.
the whole thing is pretty great too.
That's bad.
It's a bad cover, yeah. And it went a couple of months ago. It went viral, like for all the wrong reasons, sort of thing. Like it was one of those ones. But man, the playback speed feature thing it's super fun to like mess around, especially with this song for some reason, just because
it's always funny to look at stuff in speedo mode and slow mode.
Yeah,
it's always
absolutely.
Fun to, like,
yeah,
it's always fun to like see people sound like Smurfs or.
So I'm trying to find other songs where this will work well for, and I'm thinking the next one that I can mess around with is Intergalactic by Beastie Boys, because it has those like, well, now don't you tell me to smile. They have like those yell parts like at the end of the verses that I can just slow down and the rest of it I can speed up. So I think I'll mess around with that one next. It's good. It's good fun. It's a good time waster. When you're waiting for a download, or you're waiting for the train to come, or you're waiting for your hair to grow, or you're waiting for the time to go, or whatever, just fucking just blast some playback speed. It's funny. So watch this About a Girl cover by Puddle of Mud.
I saw it.
And
it's
then
dreadful.
To cleanse your palate, watch About a Girl from the Nirvana MTV Unplugged in 1993, and watch a guy sing the song without having a hernia, because naturally that was his voice. But the Puddle of Mud guys, naturally not his voice. So he's
I guess it's odd because he's trying to do an impression.
Yes.
And I think that's the. I've always been led to understand that if you're covering a song, you shouldn't just make it sound as much like the original song.
You put your own.
As possible.
You put your own spin on it.
Exactly.
I heard a cover of. What was that song? It's not even a good song. It's and it's not even that old either. But some girl or woman has done a cover of it.
Is this?
I guess.
Is this Leanne LaHavis doing her cover of? Gosh, what song was it?
Dancing in the Moonlight.
Oh no, I hate that song.
Everybody's okay, so somebody's covered that song. Why? Of all the songs out there, why Dancing in the Moonlight?
I don't know, because it's dreadful. Do you know that song was not by, what was that band? Whoever they were, that was not an original song.
Which one? What song?
That Dancing in the Moonlight. That is an old song.
Right.
Top loader.
Right, it was not them.
Dancing in the Moonlight.
Their song was a cover. So there is an older version of that song.
But there's I
think it was Van Morrison or someone like that, was it?
King Harvest.
Okay,
is who it was.
All right,
Top Loader is the version I know.
Right, which is god awful. Like but it's not their song. Yeah. It's not their song. Here is a good cover for you. Leanne LaHavis doing a cover of a Radiohead song called Weird Fishes, which wasn't it was an okay Radiohead song. Her version is absolutely phenomenal. Better than the original, incredible. And it is a completely different take. So it's similar in parts to the original, but she's put her own spin on it, and it is absolutely wonderful. That's a cover. is you take a song and it's like an homage to it, but it's not just trying to reproduce it like this god-awful puddle of mud thing. Dreadful.
Oh, yeah. This is King Harvest Through the Years. King Harvest. Is it King Harvest that did the original Dancing in the Moonlight? It must have been, yeah.
Mrs. F was listening to Spotify the other day. She when she's working from home, she sticks Spotify on in the living room there. And that was on, and I was like, what? It's like this was a cover, and she was like, yeah, that blew my mind as well. I was like, good God.
Sorry, what was the song again?
Dancing in the Moonlight. We were just talking about it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about that other song.
No. The Weird Fishes is the one by Leanne LaHavis. She's just put an album out like in the last couple of weeks.
It came out. The official music video came out 4 weeks ago. It's got 211,000 views.
It's very good. It's very good. If you're listening to this podcast, go and listen to it. It's an excellent cover. Her vocals are amazing as well.
Do people still do like comedy songs? Like, because Weird Al, there was this era where Weird Al and Lonely Island, I guess, was the most recent.
Not even. There's There's that rapper as well now. What's his name? He's like funny raps, but like everybody likes him.
Yeah, like
I can't remember his name.
Tiny Dicky or Little Dicky.
Yeah, little Richard.
Tiny Dicky. He sounds like a Triforce fan.
Yeah, it's like Little Dicky or something. But I think people actually really like him and think he's good at rapping and stuff. But I just like. Just the whole concept, I can't even.
I think doesn't Lil Dicky does some quite funny songs though. Actually, if I remember rightly.
Apparently he does. I can't get my head around it. Like it's just.
He's actually. I actually don't mind Lil Dicky so much. He's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm not really into comedy music.
Epic rap battles of that was a classic thing.
Like when people put the album on by what's that band? Jack Black and Kyle Gass. What's that song? They do like
the Tenacious D. I want to fuck you or whatever that one.
It's just tedious. Like it's just.
I can't handle that either. I think it's got to be a generation thing or something. But I don't find that like. Everybody like it's one of those songs that comes on and everybody knows the lyrics to, and you're like, how the fuck has anybody even listened to this to know these lyrics? And they're all laughing and singing the song and stuff, and you just think, fuck you for enjoying this.
You know what the biggest problem is? It's a single punchline stretched out over 3.5 minutes. That's a problem with all these comedy songs.
Yeah, I guess
it's like essentially it's got one funny element, and that's it. And it's just boring. Fucking boring.
It's tough to write these things, I think.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so stop.
It is. It must be really hard
to
write
rid
these things. Lil Dicky, maybe I need to listen to it more or something, because everybody's always banging on about
some of his stuff is quite good, yeah.
But I just like funny. It's one of those things I get like this, and I think it's like an age thing where I don't like the idea of it. I was like that with like Father Ted, for example. First time somebody explained Father Ted to me, I was like, that sounds fucking stupid.
Oh my God,
I'm not watching
dude.
that.
It's so good.
And then it turned out amazing, obviously.
Right.
But you know what I mean? It's like one of those things I just it makes so little sense to me that I don't even want to try it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like super. The walls are up.
Well, I'm one of these people who I don't normally listen to lyrics. I kind of am very much a. I know some people I talk to are like, I totally listen to the lyrics and take them on board, like Scorpions, totally cause me to get rid of communism, definitely. But I guess like the current playlist I'm listening to on Spotify is called Fantasy Board Gaming.
Oh God,
which is basically
fuck
this,
me,
like,
man. Does every conversation have to come back to this? Like,
no,
geez.
that's unrelated. It's unrelated.
It's not
I
unrelated.
need to be listening in on my brain.
This is like my daughter has a fucking Undertale playlist that she listens to. Right, it's the same kind of shit, dude.
No, but it's like it's a playlist where I could just like do other things, like even read a book, and it won't interrupt my flow. Right, I like having little musical thing going on, especially like when I've got like, because I can have my headphones on and it's like I can have like I could be sat there and it's not like I don't have to listen to like the people shouting next door and the seagulls and I don't know all the other.
A lot of people listen to music that way.
noise.
A lot of people put music on to filter out other things, or they find it helps them concentrate. For me, and I'm sure there are other people out there, it is completely the opposite.
Right.
If music is playing, I can't do anything else. I am listening to music.
I think you need to just find the right I think you find a background playlist.
But I don't like that,
and I've just suggested one.
I don't know. I don't like background music.
You dropped an eel on me.
I can't do it. I can't listen to background music.
You don't like to listen to fresh beats while you study for your exams and stuff, or whatever it is that people do now. They have like
that does explain your grades.
24/7 chill beats.
I just can't do it. Like if I'm listening to music, I want to listen just to that, and I want to really want to be able to be transported by it and to think of nothing else but what I'm listening to. It would be like reading a book whilst doing the hoovering.
I very rarely do that. I find it the opposite. Like I can't just listen to music. I find it not it doesn't hold my attention enough. Often.
It's because you're listening to a playlist of music for fucking Warhammer board gaming.
Maybe I'm not listening to the right stuff. I suppose if you do listen to music properly, you can, I guess, hear more.
I think you have to let it in. Like that's the thing with backgroundy. Like
there's probably a word for it.
Yeah, there probably is.
Yeah,
shenane is.
It's probably
that would probably be it.
Shenane.
I think you've got to open up. I think the problem is music can be very emotional, and there's a natural reaction for a lot of people to not want to engage with it.
What are some songs that can bring a tear to your eye? Like
loads.
Try to think of an example of just such a beautiful song that it gets you every time.
All right, so
you hear it,
here's
and
a
it's
song.
Just like,
it's
Jeff Buckley, Hallelujah.
No,
too cheesy. Here's a good one. Let me just get my playlist.
Too cheesy.
That's too cheesy. Yeah, that's way too cheesy.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a very emotive song, but it's like it's played out.
I'll tell you what gets me going: the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Oh, that actually brings a tear to my eye. It's very epic.
I'm just trying to find this. Fucking...
What now, bitch?
No, I'm with you.
I love how like standoffish you got at the end of that.
As if we were going to jump it. I agree.
What?
Fight me.
It's by Ellis Regina and Antonio Carlos Jobim. It's the Ellis and Tom album. It's Aguas de Marco. It's a beautiful song. It's very, very famous in Brazil. And very sadly, Ellis Regina died very young of a drug overdose, which adds another layer of sadness to it.
Oh, but that really helps. So that helps to make it a tearjerker.
But that is a beautiful song. Also, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by... what's his name? And
that's one of the reasons the Jeff Buckley one's fucking sad.
Yeah,
he went.
Yeah, he did.
Before his time.
Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. I always forget their names. So Tammy Terrell, like if you watch, there's like a very early music video of this where they're just singing to each other. And Marvin Gaye adored Tammy Terrell, and she was fantastic. She was a wonderful singer and just brilliant. And she also died tragically young, and it broke Marvin Gaye's heart. So listening to that song with that in the back of my mind, that always gets me choked up as well. Because it's such a beautiful song, and it's so wonderful, the performances, and then knowing that the tragedy behind it. Same with the Brazilian song as well. I feel like a song that has a background to it that is itself heartbreaking makes it sadder, and also they're just fucking good songs.
That is so. I get the theme here. The saddest songs are the ones which have a sad story attached to them.
Well, not necessarily. Some people find other songs that don't necessarily have a sad story attached to them sad, right? Like there's
I think
definitely...
Rehab's a pretty sad song.
Yeah, no, a lot of her stuff is very sad because no, it is. It's true. I mean, the thing is, if you're separating the song from the story behind it, and just listening to it on its own, maybe it's not sad, but songs that aren't sad songs become sad because of the story behind them when you know them. It's a bit like expanding the story.
And some songs aren't sad. They're just like, some songs are so epic that I can almost like bring it to you. Like I find like, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but like Dragonborn from Skyrim can almost bring a tear to my eye.
I saw that happening. Yeah, I watched a clip of you getting involved,
and also
I could see it in your eye.
The Fallout 4 theme music I find very nice as well. Like it's just like powerful, you know. I don't know what it is. Like it's
you're right.
It sounds nerdy, but it could get me going. It could get me going.
Civ 6 intro music.
There's a couple of Radiohead songs that could get me going as well. Like I remember my boss when I used to work at the bank.
I don't know that song.
He was only in his 40s, and he died of he had an aneurysm that killed him.
Was he trying to do a Nirvana cover?
No, he wasn't.
Too soon,
he was
too soon.
He was it was really sad anyway. And I remember I think it was Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead was on the radio when I heard the news. And that choked me up big time. I mean, I was sad because like my friend had passed away as well, but But now every time I hear that song, I can't help but think about that, and it makes me sad every time, you know. So it's powerful stuff, music.
It is, but that's what I'm saying. I think some people want to put background music on because music is very powerful.
It is,
speaks to all humans, and it has done for all time. There's some magic in music, and I think a lot of the time, if you just want to put background noise on, I think not engaging with it is at times healthy mentally, because I do it all the time where I just put music on, do nothing else, and it gets me in such a state sometimes that it sort of leads to some pretty bad panic attacks. So I try to limit how often I just listen to music that's really I find very powerful.
It gives you like an existential crisis.
Later on that day, I will have a crisis of some kind. But I had a terrible panic attack.
You have to be aware of this stuff. Like it's definitely like stuff affects you that you didn't realize like where it came from.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll have like a bad load of fart. You'll be farting, and you'll be like, "Where did that come from?" And then you'll think like, "Oh,
what are you like a dog?
Was it that thing I had for breakfast? Yeah, I shouldn't have eeaten all that dog food for breakfast."
No, but when dogs fart, they look at their ass sometimes. Like what
another song that made me cry one time is I remember I was at the club with some of my boys, and the drinks were popping, and the pussy was popping off hard too.
It was wet ass.
Some wet ass.
It really doesn't sound like any pussy was popping anywhere near.
And all of a sudden, over the sound system at the club,
Dragonborn.
I hear everybody report to the motherfucking dance floor with they motherfucking drinks, they wet ass pussies, they big fat asses, and the big brown titties with the pepperoni nipples, because I'm coming for you. What the fuck was that? And then, of course, the chorus starts playing, and that's when I'm just in a ball on the floor crying. I got bitches all on my dick every day, sucking on my balls, licking on my balls.
Wow.
Bitches, they know. Stick it in their booty hole. My balls, suck on my balls. And at that point, I am hysterical.
I want that read at my funeral.
I am hysterical.
And then the entire club cried and everyone applauded.
When I die, I want you to sing that at my funeral.
Like as a eulogy.
Dance as you
I'll get really into the part where it says, all up in that asshole, let me hit that booty raw. Licking the dick, sucking the balls, swallow it all. Beating down your pussy wall to the ground.
Good grief.
Spinning round and round. And these stacks get down. Swallow the nut. Dick in the butt. Beating it up. And that's how I fuck. Bitch. That's what I'm going to be singing when I'm on.
No, don't sing
I'm going to be twerking on your coffin as they lower down into the ground.
And now Chris Levis will give a reading from the Bible. And you take the Bible up, but you've got the lyrics tucked in.
Yeah.
This is from Job chapter 7.
The Gospel of Dre. Yeah.
Man. So there you go.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Well, I think that's enough. Thanks for listening, everyone. That was a hell of a podcast.
It was
see
amazing,
you all next week.
Next week.
Goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye.
Bye.